Hello and welcome to another episode of Housemarque Developer Let's Play. With me is Pekka.
Hey.
And my name is of course Mikael. And today we'll be playing a Ubisoft kind of indie game. Or is it?
Well, I mean, it's Ubisoft. They're not really indie, I
They're
guess,
quite
but it's a small team.
So a
And
smaller
this
team.
kind of came out of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
seems like it's a kind of passion project they had.
Which is, I think, really cool. They have a lot of digital-only material now. So Ubisoft's doing a lot of games like Child of Light, Valiant Hearts.
Yeah, that's true. They have been doing kind of these more, let's say, out of the left field, maybe a little bit quirky or
Condensed,
yeah,
focused, not Assassins-y.
yeah. It's definitely not the sort of like machismo, big guns, and
Yeah.
all that, like sort of, which is kind of the more mainstream thing.
Yeah.
Although this might be actually more appealing to more people.
So what is this? This is Grow Home.
So this is Go Home. Let's
Sounds like something.
start the game, and
Friends
this
of
is
mine
actually
in,
a short game, so I don't mind overriding my save game. That's fine.
The name brings to mind some Dutch grow houses or something, but apparently, what does the Grow Home mean? Can you explain?
Well, see, here we see our spaceship, and down there,
Ecosystem,
yeah,
star
we
plant.
found the star plant. There it is.
I like the way they're able to zoom in. Really,
Yeah.
there's really this. You can see pretty far in this game. Is that visual styling part of the appeal, or?
Sure, I do think so. Like here
Oh.
we see like, well, this is exactly not a long game. Here we've pretty much like seen all of the area there is, but there's like some nooks and crannies and all sorts of stuff. And when you look closer, it's gonna be more interesting. So this is us. We're Bud.
Bud the robot.
Yeah, it's a botanic utility droid or something like that.
I like the way that the walking is quite chaotic.
Yeah, apparently this actually started at Ubisoft Reflections as a sort of animation test.
Right.
Like they were testing like procedural animation. Like this is not animated by an artist, if you can imagine.
That's what I was going to say. That it does look like it's pretty
Yeah.
random. So
And like the basic functions that I have here is I can move the guy around,
yeah.
and here we have a little hint.
And
I
the-
can grab onto things,
Right.
including walls, and I can control each of my hands separately. So I
So-
can like,
A little bit of some Spider-Man action there.
yeah, you can even like kind of nudge your way
With one hand.
with just one hand if you want, which
So-
can be useful if you are holding something.
Oh, little hint there
Yeah.
again. So you can grab onto stuff. You can collect things.
Yeah, so we can.
But those are the basic controls. You
Yeah,
just
basically, I mean we have a jump, and later we get to use some items and stuff. But this is very much like the core,
cool.
especially at the beginning, because we're gonna unlock some stuff later. But honestly, it doesn't like pile on with like new mechanics and stuff like that. It's a very sort of you have this few core features, few core mechanics.
Focus
and-
on the essentials.
Yeah,
Utilize those.
and it's very much like an exploration game.
Okay.
So let's go check out the star plant. Oh, and here actually we find a little flower, and our sort of robot mom is constantly
It's like
telling us stuff.
the AI kind of
Yeah.
feeding you the info.
And see,
Um,
here we have a little flower,
oh.
so it's like a parachute,
There you go.
but it's kind of dropping petals, so we can't do this infinitely.
Is it reusable though?
No, it's actually not. I mean,
Single
I'll
use
go
flower.
find a second flower.
Right,
I mean,
right,
they
right.
grow back anyways.
Exactly.
And here we can probably see some wildlife. So there's some butterflies. There's a bunch of plants, and I think there's some
See-
sheep around here.
I was gonna ask, are there any enemies in the game? Do you get to? Well, you probably don't get to shoot stuff. I'm
No,
guessing.
you don't get to shoot stuff.
So, is like most of the obstacles are more like puzzles?
Sure, and I mean, maybe not even puzzles. It's just like, I mean, this is a very laid back game. I mean, there's not a lot of danger. there's this like you're just kind of off exploring.
Wondering about
Yeah,
taking in the nature.
and I mean, what we're trying to do here is this is the star plant,
Yeah.
and we want to harvest the seeds of the star plant. But
I
this
mean-
is not a fully grown star plant though.
Is it spoiling the game at all? Not really. In the beginning, you kind of get this.
No, I
Mission.
don't. Well, yeah, I mean that's basically our mission. Is we want to grow this star plant.
So, what's the star plan all about? Give us a little lowdown.
Well, basically, I believe the story is something where we're gonna activate this thing. By the way,
Oh,
we're gonna fly it
what
over to
the
this thing.
hell?
So there's these little islands that have like nutrients and stuff, and we're gonna grow the star plant right into
Right.
these islands.
Right.
And
so
it's
you
gonna
need
make
to
the-
you need to hook it up to the energy source so you can grow.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, this is. I mean, I think the core story might actually be kind of dark, because it's like
Might
we're
be-
this.
might be
We're
dark.
we're alone on this sort of spaceship. We're this robot, and we're kind of looking for like sustainable life. We're looking for like a plant that. I mean, we're basically. I think it's about kind of like terraforming and stuff like that. So it's like
last hope.
we're looking for life in the universe, and like possibly to regrow our old home.
Yeah, and I mean, robots tend to stay alive if they're kept
yeah,
up,
exactly.
maintenance, and then it could be a lonely existence. So this is a kind of a sad story of a lonely robot going around the universe. I must say that these flower stems that you attach are quite phallic. So
Yeah, a bit phallic maybe. Yeah.
that's just me. I don't know, but it's funny that it looks very much like a children's game, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that's exactly what it is to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, I guess children could definitely play this. I think, although I mean, I think like the control and stuff is a little bit finicky maybe. So it's like,
So it's on purpose. It's not maybe the best in terms of overall control. It's made to be kind
I mean,
of
it's
challenging.
kind of like you just really. I mean, when I climb the thing, I mean, I kind of get this. Like it's like probably one of the best like mountain climbing simulators if you want. To
There's
call
not
it
too
that.
many mountain climb simulators
Yeah.
to begin with.
Well, no, I guess there's GURP, but
That's about it.
which is not really a simulator, anyways. But it kind of has the sort of similar mechanics.
So what do you like about this game? Is it just the kind of? I mean, you said you played this before.
Yeah, I
and,
did. I actually finished this twice.
Twice.
Played it a
Oh.
second time because like even though there's no new content, but I can kind of grow the star plant in different ways, and I was actually kind of trying to challenge myself because you'll unlock some upgrades and stuff. You'll unlock like a jetpack.
Right.
I kind of wanted to do away without the jetpack because like I felt like it was just too cheap, you know? Because I'm here to climb stuff and
Yeah, jetpack kind of breaks that whole.
yeah.
So you did it without the jetpack the second time, right?
Yeah.
What
So
are
these,
these are crystals you're collecting, and that's like complete.
Yeah, that's actually what's gonna unlock the jetpack eventually.
Oh, right on, right on.
And these teleporters I'm kind of activating, and this will let me get back here if I ever drop down again.
Oh, okay. So you're always kind of trying to watch out for dropping all the way down to the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
if I'm correct. Can we look up? Can we just see like what are we going to?
We're going to this.
There's a few of these, let's say, floating asteroidy.
Yeah, there's a few of them, and we're basically just trying to make our way up there and sort of discover what's on them.
I like the fact that it's fairly clear. You know, you're going
Yeah.
from bottom up, and you can always sort of see the end of the game. I mean, you kind of flew through that in the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of already, because we saw the, I mean, we kind of came from the spaceship. The spaceship is right up there.
Can you see the spaceship?
I think we might be able to see the spaceship. Wait a minute. think we're not at a real vantage point here. I'm gonna climb into this
This game doesn't have multiplayer.
cave. No.
Do you know if there's any plans to update the game, or is it a very complete package campaign?
Well, I think it's fairly complete as it is. I mean, it is yeah, there's a little dodo there.
Nice.
And we can kind of, if we want to, we can, like, grab the dodo and...
It looks good. I mean, to me, it looks like it's from it could be a Disney animation, just done in this very stylized.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come, dodo.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have more animals.
It's kind of hard to drag around, so...
Well, it's a dodo. I mean, they went extinct for a reason, probably. Maybe they're just, you know... They're either stupid or they're very delicious. And, I don't know. Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah. So, here we are kind of exploring this little cave here.
So it's funny, actually, instead of just being outside on top of these small floating platforms, you actually get bigger ones of those, and they have caverns inside. So it does change up. There's some variation.
Yeah, definitely. There's some different stuff in there. Here we're gonna...
Because, you know, you said in the beginning that you fly through the whole game.
Yeah, pretty much.
But still, there's some cool stuff they can bring at you.
Yeah, this is the second sort of...
area.
Yeah. Like,
I
mean, you can kind of think of it as a hub. I mean, it's not really a hub because it's like this is just floating in the air there.
But it's still a place that if you drop down from the top, you'll land here instead of going
exactly,
all the way.
because it's like there's a sort of larger landmass in here.
Cool.
And here's another teleporter.
So the guys, I saw that the loading or the saving sign is like this old floppy disk. Do they use these old kind of themes? Do you feel that this is a homage of some sorts to...
Well, I definitely think so, because the art style is very much like a bit of a retro. It's very low poly.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of polygons here. I mean, I can count them on, like, even the mushroom, which is kind of organic, but it's like, it's clearly we can see the edges.
But it's still stylized, you know.
Yeah, it is.
It looks good. It's your eye sort of rests in that. It's not...
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a nice look. I mean, and you know, I don't think game that looks exactly like this existed before.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of this, it's its own thing, you know.
It's not. I mean, Minecraft has such a great structure to it that this sort of breaks that with unpredictable shapes. I mean, they're all. It's a very basic geography. I mean, not geometry, in terms of you know, a lot of triangles, a lot of trapezoids. But as long as they're not cohering to that really strict grid structure, you know, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a matrix.
No, I think it's a very organic look, actually. Like, given how, I mean, it's that's kind of what it's about. Also, like exploring the nature and the wildlife.
Mathematically organic.
Sure.
It still looks nice.
Yeah.
Would you want to make a game in this art style? I mean, is that something you like this or kind
Sure,
of look?
I quite like the look because I think it's kind of a underused look, really.
Well,
I mean,
as
there's
you
not a
mentioned-
whole lot of games that look like this. It's I mean, I mean, you might look at like older like PS1 games and whatnot, but obviously they were made with like
limitations in mind.
Yeah, and I mean they didn't have as much resources as we have today to make like, you know, a game like this with like nice resolution. And also I think back then they were kind of trying to do more fancy stuff with the limitations they had, while this is kind of just
Taking a step
accepting the
back.
limitations.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you know,
have the
that's actually true.
floppy
I
disk.
hadn't thought of that, really. It's just a floppy disk, you know. Like, floppy disk makes sense. But yeah, I think it is somewhat like that, because, I mean, look at this robot. I mean, he's kind of, like, boxy and kind of looks like a robot you might have seen in, like, in the 80s or...
It looks like the Destructoid robot a little bit.
It does, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Maybe it's just the biggest commercial of all time to Destructoid with their unlimited budgets.
Yeah, maybe they hired Ubisoft to make the game for them.
They call Ubisoft for like, we need a really innovative, cool game to promote our mascot without ever mentioning our brand or anything. So now you go into the first level again, or what's going on here?
I'm going down a little bit because we still need to grow the star plant.
Oh.
So
how come you go back? Like, what's the point? Do you collect some seeds, or why is it now?
well, we can collect these we can explore. We can go find these
Crystals?
crystals. So I mean, here we've
Now you're
you
going through the second level. Coming
yeah,
up.
the star plant goes right through it.
Yeah,
What
that's some
fierce
heavy,
growth.
marvelous.
Yeah, and here we find another crystal.
I
And
like
there's like 100 crystals in the game. And there's
There
a
you
lot-
go, yeah.
Like
I like
you
the
can do
fact
a lot
that
of exploring.
the communication and everything is quite simplified. It's not like you don't have to listen to a story. It's like watch the fierce growth, marvelous. You know, it's quite robotic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like an AI character, anyways. There. Oh.
So you enjoy the game. It's got a
Yeah.
cool art style. It's focused. What would you like to see? Like if they would update this, or if they made a second one?
Yeah. Well, they have updated a little bit. Like they've added some like skins.
Right.
So I mean, here we can change our bud into banana bud. which is
Yellow.
Just pretty much just yellow.
Yeah.
Blueberry and plum. Then there's ninja bud. And
Nice.
native bud.
That's
And luchador.
let's go with Luchador.
I don't even. Did luchador bud have any like special features? Because ninja bud jumps higher and
Oh, well, let's take
native bud rides the star shoots longer. I mean, which is
environmentally
the-
friendly native skin.
Yeah.
I like that. It's. I mean, it sounds a bit racist, but it's still. I think it's more like environmental hippie thing.
I don't think the luchador guy has any special features, but that's
Well, he's got a cool face. So I
well,
mean,
that's true. I think
something to
we
start off
want to
with.
see that. Also, this databank feature was fun. They added this later, which is like, you saw me put the little carrot.
Yeah.
I put it in the teleporter, and basically like
All the items you can
yeah,
collect.
there's like everything there is like there's animals and there's these different plants.
I like
And
the-
you kind of drag them onto the teleporter. It scans them.
The distortion effect is quite cool. I mean, it's a small detail, but it still it brings that old computer vibe. You get that a little bit of, and those sound effects too. It sounds like
Yeah.
a floppy disk drive. For anybody who's
Or a luchador now.
let's say under 20 years old, floppy disks was the shit back in the day. We were talking about kilobytes. Do you remember how big they were? Because I remember the smaller one, the more compact ones were like 1.5 megabytes. Or something.
Yeah, 1.4 I think. But
Yeah. Very small amounts of information. But
I'm not sure what. I think the bigger ones were actually less.
Yeah, they were
capacity than
smaller.
that.
They were smaller. I think they were under 1 meg. Anyway, we could check that online. But
Yeah.
these are relics of our past. All of our games used to fit on a meg or two. This game, of course. Do you know what the download size for this game is?
I think it's about 500 megs.
Cool. So about Resogun size.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't fit on a floppy disk. That's for
No,
sure.
no, you'll need a couple of those.
Yeah.
But I mean, still.
I mean,
it-
yeah. I mean, obviously, you could split the file and put it on like 400 disks. And
That's a possibility. I don't know how many
It's
people have those
good.
drives still. But in terms of game, you said that you finished it a couple times. It's a
Yeah.
cool game. It's nice to come back to. It has a very, let's say, friendly look and feel to it, and you would recommend it for almost all ages.
sure.
And it looks like something I'd play on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, I found that even though it was kind of short, like it was just like I kind of like coming back to this because it's just kind of relaxing.
Yeah.
And actually later we might find like a nice item that lets us kind of like glide around.
So,
Which is
what kind of games would you compare this to? First, one of the things that came to my mind was Journey. It does have
Sure.
that relaxing
Yeah.
atmosphere, kind of just floating around, taking in the sights.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
The art style is very, very unique, But any other games you can think of comparing it to?
Well, I mean, you could also compare it to some like classic platformers, even like Banjo-Kazooie and whatnot, or
Which
Mario,
I
because-
heard they're making a new one on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Or, I
yeah.
mean, spiritual successor, which is
Yeah.
the term that everybody uses nowadays. But we were
But
there
yeah,
first.
no, I mean, basically, the reason I mean that is because it's like very exploratory. You're kind of trying to find these Well, I mean, it's kind of a sign thing, but thought definitely like looking for the crystals was definitely kind of an interesting challenge.
Yeah.
Actually, also one game that comes to mind, which is completely different in tone, but like that sort of exploration stuff was very interesting in a game called Crackdown on the Xbox 360.
Now that you mention it, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Crackdown is a lot
because it's
about
the same
just going
sort of
around.
thing. Like it's this dense. Well, it's a much bigger world, but it's
Yeah.
this city, and you kind of explore it. Like you get like some abilities where you can sort of almost like just jump over buildings and whatnot.
Yeah.
And like honestly, even though the game was kind of about like, you know, taking down the criminals and whatnot, but I was kind of more interested in just like finding the little orbs.
Yeah, kind of exploring the city.
Yeah, so it's kind of a similar thing in that sense. I mean, obviously that might be a bit of a weird
Well, I mean,
comparison to
I
make,
think
but
it's still it's relevant, and you know, it's a cool game regardless. So if we're gonna wrap it up with something, I would say, kids, Grow Home is the crackdown for hippies, according to Pekka.
yeah,
And there's a lot of things to explore. It's a cool Sunday afternoon with really, let's say, unique and relaxing art style. And he's played it already twice, all the way
Yeah.
through. So I mean, that's gotta say something. So thank you for showing us Grow Home. I think it's a very cool
problem.
digital-only kind of a direction that Ubisoft is taking. Let's hope that those guys, all their multiple teams, make cool things in the future, and we really appreciate this compact experiences that focus on delivering something fresh.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Thanks for this. This has been Grow Home, and we'll be back another Housemarque time with some more Housemarque developer Let's Plays. See you next time.